Hey YouTube, this is ArcadeSlord13 again, and I am back with another installment of my On This Day series. In my last video my birthday November 9th, I said that I would be doing a video for today, January 15th. And to be honest, I almost forgot about that. But I still remembered, even if it was about a week before the day. But without further ado, let's find out what happened on January 15th in history. In 1535, Henry VIII declared himself head of the church in England, and this is the second time Henry VIII has been mentioned in one of these videos. But 24 years later, his daughter Elizabeth I was crowned Queen of England in Westminster Abbey. And one of the things that I didn't find months ago when I was listing interesting events was that the British Museum opened its doors in 1759. And an interesting event that I found was that in 1797, the first top hat was worn. And yes, I know that this may not be the right hat, but still. And the onthisday.com article for January 15th has this image of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. On January 15th, 1831, the first US-built locomotive to pull a passenger train made its first run. And on board that train was Mr. and Mrs. Pearson, who had the first US railroad honeymoon trip. And I find that such an interesting story. The first railroad honeymoon on the first passenger train. In the United States, anyway. The donkey was first used as the symbol of the U.S. Democratic Party on January 15th, 1870. And an event that I couldn't help but leave out, on January 15th, 1919, the Great Molasses Flood occurred, when a storage tank burst. Excuse me. 2 million gallons of molasses flooded Boston, Massachusetts, which drowned 21 and injured 150. I just find that such an odd event. And now, I don't usually care much about sports events in these videos because I'm not really a sport sort of person. But I have made an exception for the legendary Babe Ruth. Then January 15th of 1934, he signed a one-year contract worth $35,000. The Pentagon was completed on January 15th, 1943, and on the same day, the Soviets launched a counteroffensive at Voronezh. I think that's how you pronounce it. 2 years later, the Red Army freed the Krakow-Plaszow concentration camp. But that same day, the Manhattan Project's G5 group took their first Betatron pictures of a nuclear implosion. The Trinity test would occur the next day. And honestly, the Manhattan Project is something I'd like to make a video over someday. And something that I was completely surprised by when I first was researching in January 15th is that day in 1947 was the day that the body of Elizabeth Short, better known as the Black Dahlia, was discovered. In 1965, an underground Soviet nuclear test created the atomic lake Ichega, and I think that's how it's pronounced, in Kazakhstan. Another sports event, and Super Bowl I occurred on January 15th, 1967. Where the Green Bay Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Thought I heard someone. In 1969, and Soyuz 5 was launched by the Soviet Union. In 1994, Queen Elizabeth fell off her horse and broke her wrist. Just saying. Wikipedia was launched on January 15th, 2001, and by sheer coincidence, I'm releasing this video on its 20th anniversary, so congratulations, Wikipedia, and sorry about the school boards that won't let students use you as a good source of information. 2009 was the Miracle on the Hudson, and this video is running a little long, so I won't get into detail on that. But I'm sure that there are some YouTube videos out there, and based on the web on thisday.com's synapse or whatever it's called for this event, it seems like I want to learn more, that's what I'm trying to say. And surprisingly, an event from only 2 years ago, in 2019, a witness in El Chapo's trial claimed that the former Mexican president, and whose name I didn't bother to write down, accepted a $100 million bribe from the cartel head. And that does it for the history events. If you were born on January 15th, you share a birthday with Joan of Arc, Edward Teller, the father of the H-bomb, and Martin Luther King Jr. And I have no clue when the next video in this series will be, but I'm actually kind of love doing this series, and now that I'll be getting back to college, I should hopefully be doing this more often, since I have less things to do to keep myself occupied between classes. But until the next video, be sure to like and subscribe. I have a lot of other videos that I plan on making, and I don't want you to miss them. I'll see you then.